The fair takes place in a remote cabin where Richard, a student of psychology, is conducting an experiment by having a group of people join him at the cabin to create a therapy group and exploring their deepest fears. Shortly after they arrive at the cabin, they find a wooden dummy that has been nicknamed Morty. Richard used to play with Morty when he was a child, and the group figures that it would be a good idea to add Morty into the group therapy sessions. What the others don't know is that Richard has his own fears to deal with, and the wooden creature Morty might just be related to them. Even if this movie deals with fear, its title The Fear is still pretty lame. It sounds like a title added to a film in the last seconds, as they couldn't just come up with anything better. Think about it. The Fear could basically be a title for any horror movie ever made, as fear is something that all of our beloved genre films deal with in one way or another. Then again, I guess The Fear is better than Morty Hardwood, or any other title that would deal with the supernatural creature of this film. Anyways, this film came out in 1995, and there is just something about low-budget films that make them able to capture the time period they are made in. The Fear is a great example of this, as the film reeks of mid-90s. All of the clothes, characters, and even the feel of the film nails the 90s so well. As a guy that had my teenage years in the 90s, there is an automatic nostalgic feel for me when I watch this film. And in a way that's kind of funny, as the story here is more 80s than 90s. We have a group of people going out to a cabin, we have a supernatural monster that is perhaps killing people off. Both very typical 80s slasher film cliches that got abandoned in the early 90s before the entire slasher subgenre got re-energized in a sort of new way with Wes Craven's Scream. The filmmakers here try to do something more than just deliver a super slasher film though, as they give an honest attempt at doing more with the characters than just killing them off to give the viewers blood and gore. And that's all fine and good, if it had worked, something it doesn't really do here. The struggles and, well, fear of the characters doesn't come through that well off the screen, even if you can see that there is a clear attempt by both the filmmakers and the actors involved. They focus so much on the story itself that the horror element doesn't really start until the film has lasted for an entire hour, which will make people wanting a cheesy horror film become uninterested by that point. A slow-paced film doesn't need to be a bad film though, but when the horror elements first hit the screen here, it just doesn't work and is frankly poorly constructed. The struggles of the characters doesn't work all that well either, although again there's a clear effort here to make it actually work. Even if the characters are fun and nostalgic, I miss the 90s factor. You never feel for any of the characters, and the entire thing feels a bit like a mess, and a lot of it just doesn't make that much sense. They did have a good idea here though, as the idea of having all the characters confront their own fear is not a bad premise at all. Somehow it just sadly didn't translate well from script to screen. Now as mentioned, I do believe that all of the cast and crew really tried here. Eddie Bowes plays the leading role of Richard. He looked like an Andy Garcia lookalike in this one, with the typical 90s sweater going all the way up to the neck and everything. His character makes too many dumb choices for us to really cheer for the guy, as he comes across as a stupid douchebag in my opinion. The rest of the cast is mostly unknowns, except a cameo role by the legendary horror director himself, Wes Craven, as Richard's professor. The story of confronting your own fears probably persuaded him to do the cameo, as this seems like a topic that is right up Craven's alley. And yeah, we still miss you, Wes. The Morty creature looks decent, it's a wooden dummy, so how much more could he really do with him, to be honest? He isn't that much use there though, and when he's first moving around he hardly looks any wooden at all, but rather like a guy in just a costume. And isn't any scary at all there, to be honest, and would fit more in a more comedy-filled, fun horror story. The director of this film, Vincent Robert, only directed this film. It does show that the director wasn't all that experienced, even if he should get props for the effort. It was obviously not a big budget feature, and it does have a bit of a dated 90s video look to it. One thing that I absolutely love about this film is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is basically a horrorcore compilation album. And if you don't know, horrorcore is a subgenre of hip-hop where the raps are more horror-based, filled with dark stories and internal struggles. I'm a huge fan of the genre, and this soundtrack can brag about having some of the biggest acts within the subgenre on it, with everyone from Isham, Gravediggers, to insane clown posse showing up on it. Isham even did a theme song of the movie with his track The Fear, Morty's Theme, and he actually also shot a music video for it as well. It's a great soundtrack on its own, and I should probably eBay it someday and grab it. The main score of the film by Robert O. Raglan has notes that remind me a lot of the theme song from Full Moon's The Puppet Master. I would not be surprised at all if Raglan was slightly influenced by that one or just plainly wanted to rip it off. Now I kinda like what The Fear was trying to do, even if I don't think they succeeded in bringing their idea to the screen. If you're out for just a silly slasher film, then I think you will be a bit disappointed by this, and perhaps the sequel would be more in your taste. Even if I do recognize that The Fear is not that great or maybe even a good movie, I still like it and appreciate the effort behind it. So my final score for the film is a 3 out of 5. So what do you think of The Fear, if you have seen it that is? And what attracted you to the movie in the first place? Was it the Wes Craven cameo or the idea of Wooden Dummy going bananas on people? Any other mid-90s horror film that you would recommend that perhaps no one has heard about? Let me know in the comment section below and subscribe for more horror reviews coming shortly. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.